Hi guys, part 3 I think of the aeroplane interior. I think it's part 3. Sometimes I get a little bit confused, bit hard keeping track sometimes. In part 1 and part 2 I altered the foam on the rear seat, I stripped all the covers off, made patterns, cut out the leather and the fabric. And now in part 3 we are going to do some sewing, and quite a lot of it. Now I have been told that I don't show enough sewing on the channel, so if you have that opinion then you're in for a bit of a feast today, because it's going to be mostly sewing. There'll be a little bit of fitting of the covers in the end, trying on along the way, because I don't just sew everything together and hope it all fit. I check against the seat throughout the whole process on things that I've never done before. If it was a seat that I've done multiple times, don't need to check. I know everything fits, the patterns work great. There are a few things that I need to mark onto the centre panels. Also, the owner has been in touch and he's come up with the style that he wants for the check. If you watched the last video, you'll know that there were a few options on where to put the checks, how much checks to put in, how much leather to put in as well. He saw the video and has voiced his opinion, and his opinion is obviously the correct one because he's the one paying the bill. It's a completely different option than was on the table at the time. You will see his choice. So I will get the centre panels out. First thing I need to do is to sew the pockets onto these. Once the pockets are on, then everything else can be sewn to this. Generally on seats you work from the centre outwards, so centre panels always the first to work on. I will stick the pocket onto the back of these. I'm just going to use double-sided tape to stick the pocket on. I have reference lines along here, so as long as I sew through the correct line on the check, everything should be fine. I've got the centre panel all marked up for match marks. Now I'm going to cut these in. I'm going to cut this side here from the back, and then I'm going to flip it over and double check, make sure that the match marks that are on this side are actually in the correct position regarding the check. See where the first check is, where the first match mark is. It's on that white line, so that one's going to go in the same place. There we go. And we are 1, 2 in the middle of 2 and 3. There. Last one is just there. So they're all now cut. I need to attach the pockets to these lines here, sew those in, and then I will sew the parts to this. So this is the seat, so I need to sew the knee roll part on. The same on the backrest, put the last top part onto that. And then I can sew everything to these. This is just some base cloth that I've got left over. I'm going to start to cut the pockets for the seats. I'm just using the width of this ruler because it's correct size. It's 1.5 inches wide, so I'll use it. I'm going to need quite a lot of these because I've got the back seats to do as well. But they're not very long, so I'll probably draw out too many as it is. But it's always nice to have them in stock. all those panels are now ready to have these pockets sewn in. I'm not going to sew from this side so I can see the pocket. I'm going to sew from this side so I can see the actual line I'm sewing. That's the most important thing, not the pocket, it's the pattern. But as soon as these are done, I'll attach the pieces to the ends, so the knee roll piece and the top of the backrest piece, and then you'll see what the owner has chose. It may surprise some of you, it may not. So, to the machine. That's all the sewing done now on the centre panels. I'm going to now show you the design that the owner chose, which is different to what the options were. He's gone for the leather top and check on the backrest, and on the seat he's gone for, so there we have the design. Oops, that won't stay there, but that just gives you an impression of what it's going to look like. I think it's not a bad choice. It's best of both worlds. You get quite a bit of check, but then you get a bit more leather. I will get on and sew all these together now. The first pieces that need to sew together are these pieces. So they go together, well, that's how they'd be when they're together. But I need to skive the bottom edge here. Because we've got this seam here, I don't want all the bulk in this corner here. So I'm going to skive the bottom half of these. That'll just give me a little bit less bulk when I actually turn the seam out. So I'm going to top stitch this seam as well. made up the backrest, as you can see, and I've given it a test fit. I think it will be alright. Sometimes a bit hard to tell when you need to pull all these rolls in at the same time and wrap the cover around and get that tight as well. Things seem to be in the correct position. I will top stitch this. I've got the seat base, not quite to this point. I've got the two side bolsters on and I just need to put the ends on that. I'm going to top stitch these seams, then I'll be able to fit them. I'm also going to put some scrim foam onto this foam here. If you notice, I've not backed the leather because I didn't want all that bulk in these seams here. So I'm going to put the foam that I would put on here onto here. Right, I'll tell you where I'm at. I have sewn together the covers for both two front seats. I need to still make the board for the back of the backrest, and then obviously cover that in leather. I need to sew a pocket into the bottom of the seat base cover. That's for a drawstring. I've stripped the frames, so the foams are here. I've put some 3mm scrim foam on the bolster parts of the seats. The frames have been painted, so the next job is to fit everything. Once the frames are dry, I will put the foams back onto the frames. I will then start to fit the cover. I'll do the backrest first because I don't need to do any more work to the backrest cover yet. I just need to fit that. So I'll fit that first, see how that goes. I'm only going to do one at a time. Like I always say, if it's the first time I do a job, I don't kind of do everything at once, because you make a mistake on one, you make a mistake on all of them. Very hard to try this home without it being on the frame, because there's no pushback from the frame when you put the cover on. But I think it's going to be alright. I can't really do much other than trim the rest of the seams down on all the other pieces. And then I'm going to take the back seats apart, or just the backrest part of the back seat. It's the same process as the two front seats. Take it apart, use it as a pattern. I still got to pattern the seat base yet, but I will do that once I know these fit absolutely spot on. We are getting somewhere. I'll put this to one side, I'll take the cover off it, trim the rest of the seams on the other covers. that's that one done. All we need to do now is put the back panel on and the runner. The next job will be to do the rear seat. It's just a case of doing exactly the same I did with this one. So I'm not going to film all that. There are still other bits to do on this job, bits of carpet and some trim pieces. So I'll be filming some of the trim pieces, and I have the yokes as well, the steering yokes to do as well. So still quite a bit to do.